let's have some fun with textures. And I'm going to show you how to do that with a colorful palette and a neutral palette. So actually, let's start with the neutral palette. It gets more interesting. So as I mentioned before, when you're doing neutrals, you must have different textures or else it's just so boring. If you have just like linen everywhere, it's going to be really one note, it's going to be really flat, and you're going to feel like something's missing because something is missing. So for this neutral client project, she wants a neutral room upstairs for her bedroom. So this is the furniture plan. So we've got just some really nice light nightstands, a metal bed, and a dresser. So on that metal bed, we are going to do some really fun pillows. We're just going to do some basic white bedding, but then we're going to add some fun pillows. So texture comes into play. So I don't know if you can see, but this fabric actually has little felt hexagons? Yes, hexagons sewn onto the fabric. So we're going to do this as 2 Euro pillows. And Euro pillows are the large 26-inch square pillows that go on a bed. And then we're going to bring in some round, again, so round but different, and the colors coordinate, but the texture is very different on this, right? I mean, this has little nubby things hanging off, and this thing just has like a little bit of a textured look. So we're going to put this as a really long bolster, so a 30-inch bolster pillow. A bolster pillow are those round pillows that you see. So that's what a bolster pillow is. And we are going to do this fabric, which kind of has like an embroidered, it is embroidered. It's got an embroidered pattern on it, but it's tone on tone. This is what I call tone on tone. So this is going to be for the draperies. So we've got this tone on tone texture. We've got this texture with the felt and the nubs. And then we've got this just literal textured fabric. You can feel it. And then on top of that, I'm also going to bring in some natural shades. And natural shades are the ones that look like wood, but they don't have to always be a wood color. So these are natural shades. This is a wood material, but this is actually in white to keep that light, bright feel. So these will be layered underneath of these curtains. And I call them curtains because we're actually not lining them. So draperies are usually lined, curtains are usually not. So that will be under that. And then, so that's how you kind of get there with the different textures with the neutrals. Patterns, it's just as important with colors to bring in different textures. So with patterns, you could have like all velvet and that would look just as boring as if you went with all linen. So in this other house I'm doing, it's the opposite. It's very, very colorful. And we're reupholstering a bunch of stuff in the house. Very high quality pieces, but a lot of them were passed down from family and it's just time. So we've got this amazing velvet, right? But it's velvet and cotton. So this part here is real flat and this is the velvety part. So that kind of gives you that ribbed texture feel. We're also adding in another velvet for a different chair. But this velvet almost looks worn on purpose. So we're adding that in, and this one have very different textures. Oh, but wait, there's more. We are gonna put this on the back of this chair. So it's one of those dining chairs that has a different material on the back, the front. So this is not a velvet at all. This is more of like a flat woven fabric. Very pretty though. And then we're gonna bring this mohair, which is technically kind of like a velvet, but it's real mohair, onto a chaise lounge. And then another velvet for the back of the chaise lounge with a little more color to it. I swear to God, this is gonna look cool when it's done. But this is striped, but not only is it striped, but it has like these nubby hexagons again. Yeah, hexagons to it for that texture feel. So that's a lot of velvet though. So we kind of want to break that up. So I'm introducing a Greek key fabric. I know this is a lot, right? It's not for everybody, but I love it and so does my client. But this is Greek key, not anything velvety about it. So we've got this nice woven material in contrast to like all these velvet materials. And then for a little chair in a room that has a lot of orange and green in it as well, we're bringing in this fabric. This is just going to go on a seat on this tiny little chair. So this actually has some metallic threads running through it. So this is more of a tweed fabric. So again, I mean, it's woven, but a very different feel than, oops, dropped it. Very different feel than this, right? Because this one's woven, it's chunky. This is much smoother. And also very different feel than the Greek key. So these are all technically woven, but you do get a different feel with all of these. And then I have a tiny little bit of the scrap left over from a different project I did, and we're going to do this on this itty bitty footstool. And I'm just going to give her the fabric for free because it's such a small piece. It's like barely bigger than this, but it just happened to fit in the colorway. And as you can see, there's different texture with this as well. So this one and this one are similar in that parts of it are raised and parts of it are flat. So it just gives you that different texture feel. So you want to make sure when you're bringing in a bunch of fabrics into a room that they have a lot of different texture variations. We don't want to just go all velvet or all woven or all tweed. It's just going to be boring. So, and that kind of updates you to the colorways I've chosen for a couple of those projects too. Hopefully you learned something. Drop me a note if you have any questions.